Okay, so in conclusion, we're talking about Denis Jerome Labossiere, alleged to be involved in the murder of his parents, his brother, his nephew, his niece-in-law, their unborn child, and even potentially one or two guys behind bars. So he's at somewhere around sorry, 6 or 7.5 murders here he's allegedly involved in. Apparently, all motivated by his desire to own the family farm. So, in conclusion, Canadian greed. Often farmers will give their land to their beneficiaries based on the division of labor. As the labor was divided, so shall be the land. Remi worked the land. He was there for the long days, during seeding, spraying, and harvest. Grain farming can definitely be a gamble. Essentially, you are dumping hundreds of thousands of dollars into the ground and hoping that it rains. Just not too much so that you get that flood. One crop failure can trigger the sale of a farm. Denis Jerome wanted to sell the crops and cash the big checks at the grain elevator. He wanted to own the valuable farmland, and he spoke of a desire to operate the farm often. He just never did any actual work on the farm. When the tractor or combine needed to be purchased, when the sprayer with the coinciding chemical and fertilizer needed to be attained, he had no involvement. He didn't repair any equipment, buy any seed, clean any seed. He did nothing except for be one of 10 kids whose parents owned an agricultural asset, and he simply wanted control over that farm. He never tried to partner with his brother and father. He just decided it best to murder them both. When his nephew inherited some of the farm that he wanted, he went and filed motions in court that reflected poorly on Jerome, and he just had him and his pregnant wife killed as well. Jerome sold drugs. He wasn't a farmer. Farming wasn't the path he chose, likely as a result of watching his parents struggle growing up. It wasn't until recent years that farmland exploded in value and farming became a rather lucrative business. It was then that suddenly Jerome took a vested interest in the family farm. Jerome was jealous of his brother and resentful of his parents and nephew. He hated his family for not providing him with the life he felt entitled to. That entitlement drove him to throw away his entire life and completely shatter his family. The fight over the farm was never fully resolved. It's still currently ongoing and likely will remain ongoing so long as there remains breath in Jerome's body. He views this as his birthright. That can embolden a man to do very monstrous things, clearly. The lesson one could learn from this is patience. Eventually, Jerome could have taken over, with other measures to integrate himself into the farm operations. There were other avenues to explore that did not require murder. It became personal with his nephew, and he wished to send a message to the rest of the family. Sometimes when a relative has already murdered 3 members of one's family, it's best to stop communications with them entirely. Jerome could have got what he wanted via other avenues. Many farmers carry $500,000 in debt between chemical, fertilizer, and seed, especially when the previous generation had deferred a lot of the income from debt. This income needs to be realized in years subsequent to the one in which the revenue was actually generated. There is usually enough grain in the bins to cover the debts. It may have been that Jerome's lack of understanding of farming practices may have misled him in his perspective on his brother's practices simply due to his ignorance of the nature of operating a grain farm. This wasn't the last family dispute over estate and succession planning as it relates to farms surrounding the Winnipeg area. they're ongoing all the time to this day. It was not the first. It will not be the last. All we can do is hope that it will stand as the bloodiest. Because Jerome is eligible for parole already. And we have no way of knowing if he wants to add more blood to this already blood-soaked Shakespearean-esque tale. Winnipegology.